So how do you distinguish between the normal challenges of any relationship and a truly toxic one? Here are the 10 toxic relationship signs most people ignore. Subscribe to the Find Confident channel right now for more signs and tips about relationships and many more. Thank you. 1. You don't feel safe. And I don't mean in a bodily sense, although that would apply too. I'm referring to a feeling of emotional safety. Can you tell this individual everything that's on your mind and heart? Does it matter if you speak up? Or do you find yourself constantly editing yourself, frightened of what they may say or do if you were completely honest? A healthy relationship allows people to be imperfect while yet being accountable. You can tell each other the positive and bad things, as well as openly discuss who has injured you. You can be fully seen and totally loved at the same time. Let's be clear, you wouldn't disclose your deepest pains with your in-laws like you would with a good friend in most circumstances. Depending on the relationship, there are different levels of safety. To discern the depth and uniqueness of any relationship, it takes wisdom. 2. You have bad or non-existent communication. Every relationship relies on effective communication, and it's easy to fall off the tracks without even realizing it. Because I was scared to voice my wants and wishes, my wife and I went through periods of poison. I'd want and presume, and when my expectations weren't met, I'd condemn her, be deeply disappointed, and despise her. It wasn't until I opened up that we were able to connect properly. And make no mistake, being honest does not guarantee that everything will turn out fine. It most likely indicates that things will be unpleasant or painful. That's quite typical. Burying your wounds and needs deep within you, on the other hand, just leads to resentment. Our fight or freeze response is often triggered by an emotionally intense dialogue. You can either become explosive and confront the threat head-on, or you can withdraw into a frigid quiet. Gaslighting, manipulating words, being dishonest, and attaching judgment to their comments without asking for clarification are all instances of dysfunctional communication. 3. You feel neglected and exploited. In Middle Tennessee, I reside in the woods. We chose to start a garden because we have so much space outside. Consider this scenario. What if I left my plants to their own devices, never watering, weeding, or fertilizing them? Things weren't going to go well. To avoid sounding like a hippie, people, like my plants, require caring. You're not in a healthy relationship if your spouse doesn't respect and attend to your basic needs. Not because you can't, but because they care about you. You're probably being exploited in addition to being ignored. 4. You feel like you've lost yourself. Toxic people have a proclivity for absorbing, manipulating, and molding others to match their own goals. The relationship is dominated by their plans and interests. You frequently find yourself doing things you don't want to do just to please them. Betraying your inner convictions, visiting places that make you feel uneasy, or spending time with people who make your anxiety alarms go out. Never lose sight of the fact that you are the one in charge. You, not your partner, are responsible for recognizing these habits and establishing appropriate limits. It's up to you to say no, express yourself, and live a life that is consistent with your principles. When you set boundaries or live your principles, toxic people typically feel resentful, disappointed, or furious. 5. Judgment, not curiosity, is the norm. We all have peculiarities that make life both enjoyable and frustrating. Curiosity, not judgment, is the lifeblood of a relationship. It's fine if you prefer to get up early and your partner prefers to sleep in. Why do you like lying in so late? Instead of you should get up earlier. We're all weird and we're all messed up. We say or do things that cause others pain, such as stepping on toes or walking into their personal landmines. We need people who are concerned enough to speak up. Any meaningful connection necessitates being pushed and held accountable. A poisonous individual, on the other hand, will approach you with criticism rather than compassion. They'll use your previous blunders against you as a weapon. 6. You feel belittled and ashamed. Is this individual making you feel inferior? Do they make fun of you? Make you feel foolish or embarrassed? All of these things indicate emotional immaturity, which leads to a poisonous relationship. People who are emotionally immature need to prop themselves up on a mound of your mistakes, failures, and flaws. When they can't think of anything negative to say, they invent something or bring up something from the past. 7. You don't receive empathy. Empathy is a set of spectacles that allows you to see the world through the eyes of another person. It's making the decision to joy with those who rejoice, cry with those who weep. Romans 12:15 NIV. It means refusing to lecture those who are sobbing about why they should be grateful, or to remind those who are doing well about the world's suffering. A toxic person is obsessed with their own goals and demands, oblivious to the realities of those around them. When you open up to a toxic individual and express your heart, you're met with apathy rather than empathy, and redirection rather than celebration. When you share critical information with them, they may disregard you, refocus the topic back on themselves, and one-up you when you tell anecdotes. 8. You're playing a dysfunctional role. In our adult relationships, we frequently recreate the relationship stories from our childhoods. These stories are our life maps, for better or worse. For example, a woman may marry a man who only sits on the couch and plays video games so that she may play the role of mother. Alternatively, a child may assume responsibility for a parent who is an addict, believing it is their responsibility to help their parent. Because a toxic relationship cannot be mutually life-giving and supportive, being locked in an unhealthy role is a hallmark of a poisonous relationship. Is the person you're dating open to learning new things? Are you eager to expand your horizons? We can only begin to heal and modify our generational legacies when we begin to question our automated roles. 9. You feel controlled or manipulated. A toxic individual is driven by a desire to shift power in their favor. They may continually check in on you or pester you about where you're going and what you're doing. Your partner may use the relationship as a weapon to coerce you into doing things. When you irritate them, they may withdraw and then return when you do something good. Consider something that provides you delight as a litmus test for this. You're probably being controlled or influenced if you quickly think, yeah, but insert name here will be upset. 10. You're living under a cloud of rage. Toxic people are frequently critical, ridiculing, and snarky. Are you always on your toes when you're around this person? Are they constantly irritated by something? Are they prone to fury outbursts? A person who is constantly angry is emotionally unbalanced and incapable of being a supportive companion. You know it's toxic when you feel like you have to conceal it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Just click the subscribe button below this video. See you in my next video.